Hi, this is Alex Wathen. I'm coming to you today with a book review about Stephen Snyder's How to Get Credit During and After Your Chapter 13 Bankruptcy. This book is available online for purchase on Stephen Snyder's website at www.stephensnyder.com/13book. Stephen is spelled with a PH and it's /13book. This is perhaps the most detailed and useful book that Stephen Snyder has put out since his trend-setting book, Credit After Bankruptcy. In many ways, this book is an offshoot of the former one, specializing in Chapter 13 and also covering credit during the bankruptcy, not just after. This book has been needed for quite some time, as it is the first good resource guide on how to get credit in and after a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The book starts with a section on Stephen Snyder's long-standing opinion that people should not file Chapter 13, rather they should file Chapter 7. He points out that as far as credit worthiness is concerned, there are few benefits, especially in terms of mortgages, and that, in his opinion, any benefits are greatly outweighed by the damages. He correctly reasons that the time spent during a Chapter 13 is seldom of any benefit to your credit scores, but still on others how to make the best of it. He also makes it clear that he is not a bankruptcy attorney, and he asks that you consult a good bankruptcy attorney before deciding to convert a Chapter 13 to a Chapter 7. My opinion is that many consumers don't have the entrepreneurial skills, the time, or the earning capacity that is necessary, or the good luck either for that matter, that's necessary to take full advantage of Snyder's ideas, that it's better to jettison the house, convert to a 7, start over again, and then recover fast. My experience has been that people don't tend to recover quite as fast as Snyder likes them to do. Of course, I would like all my clients and everybody else to recover as fast as possible, but my experience has been Snyder is a little bit unrealistic about how most people recover from bankruptcy. Snyder filed bankruptcy, I believe, back in 1993, and made a miraculous recovery by zealously taking advantage of every good opportunity available to reestablish credit. He went from having virtually nothing to owning 2 investment properties in a short period of time. This amazing achievement motivated Snyder to write his book, Credit After Bankruptcy, and to start the After Bankruptcy Foundation, which, as you know, has a national tour every year, reaches out to thousands of bankruptcy filers. I wholeheartedly endorse Snyder's efforts to help those in bankruptcy. In fact, I recommend them to all my clients. Snyder's clearly in the top 1% of the population when it comes to talent and tenacity, and that's why he's been such a success. He forgets about this during his conference calls and emails and newsletters, and presents himself as a jet setter who travels the country on business ventures and lives a luxury lifestyle. While I admire the wealth that he has earned from his business since his bankruptcy, I cannot help but to think how those who are currently experiencing bankruptcy and financial difficulties feel when they hear those things. I think Snyder should be more careful not to present himself that way, because it makes it harder for the average person in bankruptcy to relate to him, and he loses some of his effectiveness. The difficulty in applying Snyder's ideas for the average person is significant. As a consumer bankruptcy attorney, I do not believe that most people who give up their house in Chapter 7 can stage anything close to Snyder's recovery. Most will not have a new house that they own for a couple of years. It's often better to stay in a Chapter 13 so that you can keep the house that you currently own by catching up on the mortgage. Many filers are also in states where they might lose their house to the Chapter 7 trustee because there's equity, and they should also stay in Chapter 13 for that reason. It's not unusual that many unsecured claims are filed with defective or non-existent supporting documentation and can be struck, making Chapter 13 shorter and more affordable. I've seen cases recently that lasted 9 months or 6 months. Another major advantage of Chapter 13 is, of course, that maybe you can get out of it much more quicker than you can, in most cases. It's not always a 3 to 5 year ordeal. And I think Snyder, of course, not being a bankruptcy attorney, doesn't understand those particular aspects, and I certainly would like to add that to anyone that reads his book. And another advantage as well is that if you need to file bankruptcy again, Chapter 13 makes that easier so that you can get a discharge. You could file a case without getting a discharge if you need to, such as catching up on a mortgage, but it's usually better to get a new discharge, and Chapter 13 shortens those time periods, in some cases radically shortens them. I think that it's a good idea that this book is here, but I think it sometimes gives an unfair picture. And these concerns notwithstanding, it's a great book on how to get credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages during and after Chapter 13. Snyder approaches all these topics, especially in the context of after the Chapter 13 in terms of credit scores. He emphasizes that it's all about your credit scores. He spends time going into detail on how credit scores work and on how to improve your credit scores. This is perhaps one of the best aspects of this book, the emphasis on credit scores. In any case, I warmly and wholeheartedly recommend that you buy this book. It's my opinion that anyone in a Chapter 13 is a lot better off because of this book. I just think that it's important you put things in the proper context when you read it and realize where Snyder's coming from. I also endorse his seminars, his Life After Bankruptcy email list, and anything else that the After Bankruptcy Foundation does. So thank you all so much, and look forward to hearing more comments from you all on this book. Thank you.